Hello everyone, Bill here again. This video, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give it multiple tags, but this is going to be basically a subject on which it can cover many subject matter. I'm going to read a couple of verses and I'll just let you take it from there. One of the big things that I'm going to focus though on this video is horoscopes. Now, unfortunately here in the United States and probably the West, the horoscope has become so commonplace that most people don't even, it's just there. In fact, our local newspaper where I live has carried it as long as I can remember. And the thing is that that's really not something that a Christian should be reading. Now, myself, speaking from personal experience here, if you read or if you go and see my testimonies, you will see that I used to do my own horoscopes. I used to do my own charts. And the thing is that when I became a Christian, of course, I very quickly found out that, the horoscope and reading of the stars is simply forbidden by God, both Old and New Testament. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to read two verses from the Bible first, and then I will continue my story on why horoscope and reading astrology and all that is simply not something a Christian should do. First verse, or the first passage I'm going to be, is from the book of Leviticus, but what I'm doing is I'm taking it from the Amplified translation of the Bible, the Amplified, which I also have a video on that as well. I highly recommend you see that video as well. And here it goes. Leviticus 19:26. It says, "Neither shall you use magic, omens, or witchcraft, or predict events by the horoscope or signs or lucky days." Now that's Leviticus 19:26 in the Amplified. So right there it says very clearly that the horoscope is not something that you need to do, that is simply not allowed. Now the other passage here, this is in Deuteronomy chapter 18 verses 10 through 11. "One who predicts witchcraft, nor soothsaying, or anyone who interprets omens or sorcery, nor anyone who conjures spells, nor mediums, nor spiritualists." Now, I did not read the first part of the passage because it talks about throwing your children into the fire. But if you read the entire passage, again, Deuteronomy 18, verses 10 through 11, God forbids these things as well. So soothsaying, predicting the future, stuff like that is simply not allowed. And spiritualists and mediums and stuff like that is simply not allowed by God. And the thing is that is re-echoed again in the New Testament. It's in Galatians. And if you read in Revelation, it says very clearly that those people who practice these things shall be thrown into the lake of fire for all eternity. Now, with the horoscope, I've clipped out in our newspaper, our local newspaper, I clipped out our horoscope right here. Now, the reason why I did this, because I want you to encourage something, to truly see that doing the horoscope is just really silly. And here's what I want you to do. If you can remember this video and actually remember on your date of birth, clip out the horoscope in your local newspaper or whatever, just clip it out and then set it aside for 1 calendar year and let it come around until it's your birthday again. And then read the horoscope again and then look in that day's newspaper or wherever you got your horoscope. You'll find something very funny. In the horoscope, much like our calendar, there are 12. Or there's 12 houses in the horoscope or zodiac. And the thing is that what you will very quickly see is, hey, wait a minute, these are slowly moving down. If you read the entire horoscope, you'll very quickly find that, wait a minute, this matches up with this one matches up with this one, going across the 1-year calendar. Because what happens is, just like in space, okay, it's all in a circle. It has simply come around again. Now, some would say that, hey, wait a minute, very early Jews, centuries and millennia ago, they used the horoscopes and, then, man perverted it, Satan perverted it and everything else, and they read the signs and stuff like that. There was a Christian author, well over a century ago, Bullinger, I think was his name. I only saw the book and I dismissed his work on the zodiac, saying that, well, the zodiac was actually something that was meant by God. Look, the stars proclaim the name and they speak forth, the praise of God. again, my personal experience from being in the New Age movement for many years, the thing is that I totally dismiss anything of the zodiac, totally dismiss anything of the stars. Now, the thing is that no, I do not call those who are astronomers, false or anything like that. That's the study of the stars and the movement of the stars. It doesn't study the interpretation of what they mean and how they're conjoined and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not going to discuss that. That's completely different science. Some might even say, well, wait a minute, didn't the star lead the wise men? Back in those days, 2,000 years ago, astrology and astronomy were the same thing. They were interlocked sciences. Of course, today we have separated these two. These two things are separate. And the thing is remember, the wise men were not Jews. They weren't certainly not Christians. The thing is that they saw the sign and they knew the scriptures because, after all, they viewed all scripture from all religions as holy. Okay, and the thing is that don't forget what we read in the Old Testament. The Jews, once they were taken over by the Assyrians and the Babylonians, okay, they were dispersed throughout the world. And yes, they went east. They went further east to Babylon. Okay, and of course they took their holy books with them. So the Jew or the Magi knew of this because they read the Jewish scriptures, so that they knew, hey, wait a minute, there might be actually something going on here. I recently saw a documentary, and these scientists somewhat kind of figured out that, hey, wait a minute, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn were all aligned, and they were all like in one space here. And the thing is, I guess it was in a particular house in the stars. And the non-Jews, they interpreted this as, hey, wait a minute, let's go to the homeland of the Jewish people because that star is associated with the Jews and something like that. It was really kind of funky, and it was a bit of a stretch for me. But again, these weren't Jews that the Magi were. They weren't Jews. So they didn't know any better. But I'm willing to bet that they probably got a proper lesson in the Jewish faith once they saw, and came to the Christ child. So there it is. There's my spin on astrology and the horoscope. And once again, this is something that, if you're a Christian, okay, you have the Bible verses now that astrology and the zodiac is something that should not be done by Christians at all. Thank you.